What's Caitlyn Kiramman shooting for? This question gets posed to Caitlyn early on in her life, but it's a great question that I asked myself as well. The answer seems to change as Caitlyn evolves. As she sees more of the real world, her understanding of justice and her moral compass make her become the mediator of both Piltover and the Undercity. Before we get started with the breakdown of what leads Caitlyn on this path, I should note that I've never played League of Legends and have no knowledge of any of its lore. All of the evidence for this video was found by watching Arcane. If you'd like to know more about League of Legends lore and how it compares to the Arcane universe, then you should check out these awesome videos in the card above. Okay, back to it. In Act 1, Caitlyn really isn't that important to the plot, but it's still good to point out where she started. At first glance, Caitlyn is what we call a typical rich girl. She is a model of high society, obeys her political mother with no hesitation, and her opinion of the Undercity is based on fear and speculation.
You really went to the Undercity to get these? Weren't you afraid?
That's it. Yep, Caitlyn's only in 2 scenes. If we dig a little deeper into these 2 scenes, we start to see another side of Caitlyn Kiramman. When she's talking to Jace after he's banned from doing Hextech research, we learn that she feels out of place. A misfit, if you will. She thinks that he'll understand her dilemma and help her escape her dull life. Unfortunately for Caitlyn, Jace is trying to do the exact opposite of this. This is his final plea into high society, back into a familiar place. When you think about it, in this scene, both Caitlyn and Jace are literally on different sides of a fence, talking about not fitting in. It's kind of funny. But anyways, let's get back to Caitlyn and her story. One of Caitlyn's core fears is being misunderstood. From the pleading look in her eye when she's looking at Jace, she's looking for understanding, looking for someone to understand the loneliness she feels. Above all, she's looking for a purpose. In Act 2, Caitlyn is a lot busier. She's a little bit older, she has a new job, new responsibilities, and a new girlfriend. But we'll get to that in a second. I first want to look at Caitlyn's flashback scene, where we learn that Caitlyn is a great shot.
I'm an excellent shot.
Okay, Caitlyn, my bad. The other thing we learn is that Caitlyn's personality is nothing close to the stereotypical rich girl one that Act 1 portrays her as. As she's talking to the chief enforcer, side note here, the chief enforcer looks like the animal control lady from Madagascar 3. I'm sorry, I just can't. Like, anytime I look at this woman, that's what it reminds me of. Anyways, the chief enforcer tells Caitlyn the importance of the weapon she holds in her hands and asks her,
"What are you shooting for?"
At the beginning of episode 4, Progress Day, the answer to the chief's question would be the people of Piltover, and the people of Piltover only. Even though Caitlyn is a little older and has a job as an enforcer, Caitlyn is still naive to the real world. She has yet to step foot in the Undercity. If it were up to her parents, the chief, or Jace, this would probably stay true. Unfortunately for them, Caitlyn doesn't live that kind of life anymore. Unlike her younger self, Caitlyn straight up does what she wants, investigates crime she has no authority in festing, going to prison to talk to witnesses she shouldn't be questioning. But hey, whatever. You do you, Caitlyn. You do you. Despite her newfound rebellious side, she still doesn't fit in with the people around her. She takes everything way too seriously. This girl has the weight of the world on her shoulders because she doesn't trust anyone else to help her. Until she meets Vi, someone who's seen the harsh realities of the world, who was wrongly put in prison and was beaten for no reason. Someone who lost her parents to the same people that Caitlyn associates herself with and has admired her whole life. Despite these differences, Vi is the misfit Caitlyn's been looking for. Her better half, if you will. As Caitlyn starts to let her guard down around Vi, she starts to change her perspective of the Undercity as a whole. A classic example is when Vi gets stabbed and is looking pretty rough. Caitlyn has to adventure out into the Undercity alone, where she finds help from an unlikely ally. This is the guy from Act 1 that Vander helps out of a tough situation. At first, Caitlyn is a little frightened by this guy, getting out her gun to shoot him in the face. This dude, which I can't remember his name or even if he has a name, leads Caitlyn to a blind lady who has shimmer medicine. The only catch is that Caitlyn needs to trade away something valuable. Caitlyn, being the do-gooder she is, trades away her only weapon of defense. Good move, Caitlyn. Probably could have used that later, but you know, at least Vi's saved, yay! All jokes aside, this scene is a pivotal one that helps better understand Caitlyn's perspective change. She's not afraid of the Undercity anymore. She realizes that there are good people down there that need protection. I mean, she can't help them right now because she's unarmed, but when she gets another rifle, I'm sure she'll do her best to protect the people of the Undercity. This understanding only gets stronger when Caitlyn sees the community that Ekko has created, where she tells Ekko about the circle of violence that will corrupt all of them if they feed into it. Showcases Caitlyn's line in the sand to what she believes is right. It's her pledge to the people of the Undercity. But there's one more person we gotta take into consideration: Jinx. The plague of Caitlyn's existence. The woman who has tried to blow her up twice, kidnap her once, pointed a gun at her multiple times, and blew up the building that both Jace and her mother were in. As a side note here, does Caitlyn know why she's getting targeted by Jinx? All of the scenes where Jinx gets mad at Caitlyn are all in Jinx's point of view, so there's that. Yeah, at this rate, I don't know if Caitlyn's gonna survive until the end of the series. My god, she's gotta be more careful. Through looking at Caitlyn's change in perspective and what her enemy has done to her, I can safely say that Caitlyn's shooting for justice. However, I'm not sure how far Caitlyn will go to achieve this. This really depends on how she reacts to the attack on Piltover. Here are my best guesses for season 2. Option 1, the most reasonable option. Caitlyn becomes chief of enforcers because, well, there is no other logical choice. She helps end corruption in both Piltover and the Undercity by arresting corrupt enforcers and working her way up. But all of the good that Caitlyn is doing will come with a cost. She'll dive deep into her work and close herself off from others. At the end of the season, because it's inevitable, Caitlyn will not kill Jinx and, you know, she'll still be a goody two-shoes. Or we have the more fun option, as I like to call it, option 2, aka obsessed Caitlyn option. Caitlyn still becomes chief enforcer because literally who else is there? She becomes obsessed with taking down Jinx, putting all her time and resources into taking her down. Kind of how we see her with her investigation of Silco at the beginning of Act 2. In the end, she'll either kill Jinx, die, or Vi will have to step in to save her from becoming a monster. It'd be interesting to see this route because then we see the parallels between Jinx and Caitlyn because they're both so obsessive. I don't know, it's kind of just a darker tone that I just like, but I don't think it'll happen. In either option, Caitlyn will still follow her moral compass and fight for what's good for the people of both Piltover and the Undercity. And that's a wrap! Thank you guys so much for watching. I've never made a YouTube video before, and I just wanted to spread my thoughts about a show I really was passionate about. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Caitlyn or the show, and if you found this interesting, then consider subscribing for more content like this. Till next time.